Ladies and gentlemen, for all those who had any doubts about Modi government's commitment to inclusivity, today the Modi government has given them a loud and clear answer. A mega Muslim outreach has begun by the Modi sarkar to win the Vishwas of the minorities, a promise made in the Central Hall of Parliament. Here is how Modi is working towards winning over the minorities. The government has announced a bridge course for minority community school dropouts, Madrassa teachers to be given training in mainstream subjects, and 5 crore scholarships announced for Muslims, including 50% for girl students. And that is Modi's outreach. Is Modi living up to his promise of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vishwas? That's the legitimate question on the news hour tonight. Modi's promise of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vishwas. Is Modi delivering that? That's the question, and that's the big debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight, Nupur Sharma, spokesperson BJP, Zafar Sareshwala, Chancellor of Maulana Azad National Urdu University, Farooq Khan, lawyer, Tausif Ahmed Khan, political analyst, and Dr. John Dayal, human rights activist. And first, let me ask Mr. Farooq Khan. Mr. Farooq Khan, आज तो कम से कम सलाम करिए, मोदी साहब को अप्रिशिएट करिए कि अपने हर प्रॉमिस पर खरे उतर रहे हैं। आपने बनाई सच्चर रिपोर्ट, कांग्रेस सरकार ने अमल नहीं किया उस पे, मोदी जी कर रहे हैं। 5 crore scholarships for Muslim students and 50% to the girls, Madrassa modernization, and a slew of measures being announced by him. Would you like to compliment him?
Yeah, Navika, let me start with, because you have said the word salam, तो एक शेर के साथ मैं भी कह देता हूँ कि हुजूर आपका भी एहतराम करता चलूँ, इधर से गुजरा तो सोचा सलाम करता चलूँ. See, give credit where it is due. As far as Mr. Modi policy of, outreaching the minorities are concerned, that is indeed a welcome step. Now, what we have to ensure that these schemes are actually implemented. Number one. Number two, there is no type of appeasement. Number three, that people like Giriraj and Pragya should be controlled. Then we will have all firm belief in Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas. The problem is, the actual problem is in, implementation of the schemes. So I am not holding brief of Congress, as you said regarding such a committee. I always maintain that it is a rule of the Congress. It was the rule of the Congress which has further marginalized the Muslim community. So we as a nation, irrespective of being Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, we have to work together, and government, it is a duty incumbent on the government to work for everyone, irrespective of their religion, caste, all strata or any other differences. So I welcome this with the rider that I would indeed appreciate it if schemes are actually implemented, and Mr. Modi and the ruling BJP controls these venom-speaking, venom-spreading spokespersons, as well as, the politicians which belongs to his party, so that we could truly reach the objective of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas and Sabka Vishwas.
Nupur Sharma, even when the Prime Minister will make a major effort to make his outreach and really to look at the progress of the minority community, and he said this not today but in 2014, that he appreciates that हमारे मुसलमान भाइयों के सर पर टोपी, एक हाथ में कुरान तो दूसरे हाथ में कंप्यूटर होना चाहिए. But people like Mr. Farooq Khan can only see venom. Why do they only see venom?
Well, Navika, you asked the right question. The fact is that, the naysayers would always look at, can I please come, I think I'm Nupur. Wait your turn, please. The fact is all the naysayers will always look at everything through a political prism. They will not comment on junior Ovaisis of the world or the hate-mongering netas of other political parties. For them, they are absolutely secular. However, for us, they are actually pseudo-secular. Neither would they appreciate the efforts through schemes like Nai Manzil or the scheme which offered 51,000 rupees to graduate Muslim brides, or something like Triple Talaq Bill. It was only this government which actually fought for empowerment for the half of the Muslim population, and many Muslim women came forward, appreciated, in fact even voted for us in many state elections and the central election. Now, having said that, this scheme is simply something which is ensuring that there's not only modernization but also actual integration and mainstreaming of the Muslim population. Offering 5 crore scholarships over the next 5 years in pre-matric, post-matric and in technical courses ensures that these people become employable. They are not just isolated and relegated to just one certain form of education wherein STEM is not the form. STEM education meaning thereby technical courses, actual vocational educational courses. So I think instead of criticizing, the naysayers should come out and appreciate that somebody is actually thought of those people, somebody is ensuring that they are pulled into mainstream and so that they can become self-sufficient and self-dependent.
Well, Tausif Ahmed, can you find fault with this? An outreach that Modi is making to the minority community, would you see political agenda even in this?
No, of course not. If Narendra Modi ji has made it clear in his victory speech that he has added the word Sabka Vishwas, so it's a very good move. If he is not, his intentions are there and it should be backed with proactive steps. You see, such a committee recommendations are there. There are about 62 recommendations. You may not follow it. You need not to follow the such a recommendations per se, because that was perhaps the Congress government's initiative. You can come up with your own. But there is something these hate mongers which should be controlled by the Prime Minister because they belong to BJP party. That's number one. There's no denying about that. Number two. There are enough resources left by the predecessors of Muslim community in the way of Waqf and Waqf properties. If Mr. Modi, if the Prime Minister can only end corruption, revolving the Waqf, that will go a long way, for Muslims to help stand on their own feet. So these are the initial steps that Prime Minister Modi can take, and we all welcome that. It's not that even if I had not voted for BJP or Prime Minister Modi, but I cannot today deny the fact that he is the Prime Minister of our country, and therefore just to come and do a Modi bashing does not make any sense. If Prime Minister is trying to reach out to people, it should be welcomed, but it should also be backed by the proactive steps. And just two
why
examples
is
that
there
I've given.
such a condescending, such a reluctant admission of the fact that if Modi is coming out and if he has won and if he has become the Prime Minister, why so many ifs and buts when Modi does what he's promised to do? Because when it comes to Modi bashing, all of them actually point fingers at him saying that ये तो मुसलमानों के कभी हुए ही नहीं, हिंदू पार्टी के हिंदू नेता हैं.
Navika, in fact, Modi has been true to his words right at the word go from 2014, and I'll give you example why. When Manmohan Singh's government UPA 2 ended, it's not very large, but it is very important. The Minority Affairs Ministry's budget in 2014 was 3,200 crore, and last year in 2019 this government increased that and it went up to 5,200 crore. So almost the Minority Affairs Ministry's budget alone increased more than 50%. And where is this money going? This money, 90% of the Minority Affairs Ministry, the amount goes in pre-matric and post-matric scholarship. Initially in 2014-15 there were some teething problems, but at least for the past 3.5-4 years there is not a single example where a recipient has not received that scholarship. Number two, you mentioned about Maulana Azad National Urdu University. I was the chancellor there for 3 years, and the kind of chewing gum which the earlier governments used to give to the Muslim, the real example. Maulana Azad National Urdu University, it's a premier university, it is a central university. In 2015, Modi government gave 245 crores to Maulana Azad National Urdu University. When that money came, we came to know that out of that 245 crore, 120 crore was such which was due to the university in 2012. It did not come in 12, 13, 14, only Modi government gave. One more thing, UPA had promised, they had announced in the budget of 2012 about UPSC Training Academy to Maulana Azad National Urdu University. It did not come in 12, 13, 14. This government gave separate money for that. It was set up, it was inaugurated by Mr. Naqvi, and in the first year, 3 Muslim students got selected in UPSC, 2 in IS,
So Dr.
1
John
in IS.
Dayal, Dr.
So,
John Dayal,
this is,
will you
was
now,
continuing, and
will you
now
now
they have
actually
gone one step ahead.
give Mr. Modi the benefit of doubt that maybe you just misjudged him? Dr. John Dayal, do you think you can be as magnanimous as that?
I will praise him for this gesture, although in my case it is a case of Begani Shadi Mein Abdullah Diwana, because it's all about Muslims so far. I hope his next step would be to announce something comparable for the Christian community, for training their people. But I'm sure with the mandate he has got, he will be a different Prime Minister. I'm sure of that. But I would like to see him translate it into the one issue that is the big elephant in the room, which is security, which is challenging the Islamophobia that his colleagues and others from other parties.
You still
are
have
also trying
doubts
to
about the
spread.
Islamophobia.
Do that.
There you
That
are,
is a
Nupur
Vishwas.
Sharma. Islamophobia still exists, and that is what they want evidence for.
You know, that's exactly what I said in my opening comment, Navika. This is the only political prism and the prism of pseudo-secularism that they want to view the world with, and they want to influence people who are watching your show through this prism. They think everybody should actually just get influenced and follow what they believe in. Fact of the matter is, he probably missed what I said. I'm going to go back to the fact that many Muslims have actually come out and voted for us. Now, since you actually, Dr. John Dayal, spoke about what is the government doing for others, do you know a part of the scheme also is that there will be free coaching for competitive exams?
I am not challenging
please allow me to complete. Please allow Dr. Dayal, allow me to complete.
I am saying
Dr. Dayal, allow me to
complete. But I'm not
complete.
challenging you.
Dr. Dayal, allow me to complete. Why are you screaming over me? Please allow me to complete. Well, the fact is, Dr. Dayal, you yourself have videos actually going to US and spewing venom against Hindus and Hindu religion and Hindu gods. I don't want to go into that. When you speak about, the big elephant in the room, you yourself are one. Now, having said that, this scheme actually also reaches out to Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, Jains and Parsis and Buddhists. Yes, I will. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you, sir. Don't worry, I've seen it myself. Oh, it's okay. It's not a lie.
No.
You yourself are quite communal. I think the world knows it. No, you are the one who wants to show everything on, you yourself want to show the world through a communal prism. We all know what you feel about other religions. However, let's stick to the point. This scheme actually also extends to free coaching for competitive exams, which means UPSC exams, which means banking and railway exams, which extends to Christians, Sikhs, Jains, Buddhists and Parsis also. No, don't give me that. Don't give me the... So can you prove Islamophobia? Since you have actually made a point on this debate, show it to me where is Islamophobia. I can actually pull out NCRB statistics right now. I can pull out NCRB statistics right now and prove you wrong. There were 76,000 common incidents of violence in 2013. In the past 5 years, there were only 2,000. There is no comparison between the two. What Yogi, sir? What Yogi? What has he said? Has he said anything to you or for any religion, sir? No. I think you should. You are the biggest elephant in the room. I am giving you NCRB statistics. You give me statistics. Give me statistics, sir. There is also forced conversion down south in South Indian states. What do you have to say about that? Have you actually gone on the streets and ensured there is no forced conversion in down south?
Not a single.
No. Have you fought against people?
You are lying
not
on
one.
camera.
Not one. I'm sorry, this is a serious issue. So much so, this is a matter of legal opinion and is fought in the High Court of Kerala. You know what? I'm not here to educate you.
Dr. John Dayal, I thought after the election, after the mandate, after the outreach, you would actually congratulate the Prime Minister for actually addressing the concerns of the minorities.
I began I began by congratulating
But
him.
it
I
didn't last
began
too
by
long.
congratulating
It
him.
didn't even last
Wholeheartedly.
20
Please
seconds,
pay back your
sir.
tape.
Mohandas Pai joins the debate, and Mohandas Pai, I
Because
want
the
to ask
lady
you.
jumps in.
Mohandas
The
Pai, I
lady
want to
jumps in.
ask you,
You
when
jump
the
in.
Prime
I am
Minister is
saying-
making
I am
his
saying,
outreach,
stop.
when he's going out of his way
Give them
for
Abaidan.
addressing
Give them
reforms, and in
Abaidan.
this case,
The word is
reforms
Abaidan.
in the
Let them
education
feel
sector,
your Abaidan.
reforms
No one
especially in
will feel
minority
afraid. Say
education. Mr. Mohandas Pai, do you think you would
This
also
is
see
an
venom in
extension
this
of
entire
Indira
issue? Would you also see a design behind this, or would you actually see Narendra Modi 2.0 actually reaching out to all communities?
My data and my view is that Narendra Modi 1.0 did not discriminate against anybody. There is no evidence to say the government discriminated. In fact, I was speaking to a friend who spoke to a government official about housing, and he said 20% of the housing has gone to Muslim households. 22% has gone to Muslim households for gas. Muslims are taking advantage of the government scheme like they should because they're entitled to it. There is no discrimination from the government against anybody, much less the minority. Now, there is a victimhood narrative that has been created by John Dayal. We all know what he did when he went to the US Congress and gave evidence against India
Who's this
earlier.
one? How-
We
how's
all
he
know
coming?
what he has done for conversion. If you see his articles,
Mohandas Pai,
You are
Dr.
also
John
a
Dayal.
liar like
On his
everybody
own
else.
job,
You are
you
also
can
a
see the
liar.
impact of the
Ask your
radical
friend to
activity.
sue me.
He has written the article himself and he comes and lies. He said there are 7.5 crore crypto Christians in this country, whereas census shows 3.4. That is the extent of conversion which he has facilitated. His article is there in public domain, is available. And why is the man coming
Bring
here
them,
whining?
sue them,
He's a
arrest them
victimhood complex.
if you dare.
He's a hate
Arrest
monger.
them.
He doesn't use data, and I think he has lacked credibility.
Well,
You are a liar. You are a liar.
John,
You are a
John,
defamer.
John, don't
You are a
keep
liar.
lying, John, read your article. John, read your own article which you wrote. Crypto
You are a liar.
7.4
If
crores.
you
Dr.
say
John
there's
Dayal,
40
Dr.
John
John
Dayal,
Dayal, the country
Don't lie.
You're a
country
liar.
salutes Prime
Muslims
Minister.
don't believe that
John.
The country
he
is-
has the intention to do
There
so.
is, John, there is data, John. Talk with
The country
data,
voted
don't
for
lie.
him.
The approach,
The
the
country
approach
voted
should be
for
to
it.
empower a community rather
Farooq
than
Khan,
the
You are a
rather
liar.
than appease the community.
would you
Yeah.
would
And
you
a very
actually
vital
stoop
point
to
for
lies,
that.
as
And
Mr.
a very-
Mohandas Pai is pointing out? Would you stoop down to lies to actually disprove the fact that Modi has been
Mohan
equitable
is lying.
and just in the 1.0
John,
as
give me
well?
data, John. I've given you
Show it.
data.
Bring him on camera.
John, give me data. I'll send you an article by Twitter. I will tweet.
Where is
I'll
the
send you an
data?
article.
Please allow me to speak.
You
Gentlemen.
concoct like your
Gentlemen,
friends.
please allow me
You're
to
a
speak.
concoctor.
Well, I'm running out of
Gentlemen, please allow me
time.
to
10
speak.
seconds to you, Farooq Khan.
Gentlemen.
10 seconds to you, Farooq Khan.
Gentlemen, yeah, thank you very much, Navika. My only question, and I'm so glad today by the statement of my learned sister Nupur that they have started believing in the word which is enshrined in the preamble of this country constitution, that is called as secularism. I'm so glad. You know, I will keep voting for BJP for next 50 years
Very
if they
good.
don't discriminate
Very
people
good.
on the name of religion.
Very
I'm
good.
asking not only
Very
for
good.
Muslims.
Secularism
asking
is
for
something
Hindus.
that Prime
I'm asking
Minister
for the
Modi said
marginalized
in
people
his
of this
victory
country,
speech. He
irrespective
always
of
believed
any
in.
religion.
It is pseudo-secularism that he did not believe in, and that, Mr. Farooq Khan, is something
Exactly.
that you will have
Navika,
to
just
learn
10 seconds.
before you become a political
what is-
rival. I'm
what is
completely
all
out
saying?
of
What is
time.
important?
More breaking
I'm so
news
glad.
coming in. Before I say goodbye on the news hour tonight, I want to highlight the most important reform that the Modi government is likely to initiate in the budget session of the parliament. And joining me tonight is Nikunj Garg, senior editor, in fact, editor internal security, who was at the Home Ministry this evening when this decision was taken within a meeting chaired by Home Minister Amit Shah. In what is a significant reform seen in independent India, the government has eyed a major revamp of labor laws. The government is proposing merger of 44 laws into 4 codes, which will ensure safety of wages, improve industrial relations and improve social security. Nikunj, this could be a win-win for Majdoor as well as the industry which is looking to make investments and create further employment.
Absolutely, Navika. The big crisis here in this country for the last 20 years has been that the big manufacturing is not taking off. And, if you look at the example globally from Japan to Southeast Asian nations and later China, it's only when the big manufacturing takes off the jobs, the large number of jobs are actually created. And that certainly cannot happen if you continue to discriminate with the industry in terms of the volume of employment that it generates. Today, there is a separate set of laws for the industry employing under 100 employees and above 100 employees. Then the figure changes at 500, 1000, etc., etc. All those needs to go, and only when the industry feels that the labor laws are friendly to it, will the labor also benefit. The labor policies have largely been influenced, largely been one-sided for a very long time, and that needs to change as pro-industry policies too.
Well, Nikunj, that's right. Good news for industry, good news for employees and the labor sector. But for the moment, it's time up for us. I'm leaving you with these big decisions that have been taken today and will be passed in laws in the second week of the budget session. We look forward to that. And with that, it's a wrap on the Newshour tonight. Good night from me. Newshour Agenda up next. Don't go away.